It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome. It's the Jill on Money Show on the last weekend of August. We're here answering your financial questions. If you've got one, go to jillonmoney.com. Right now, let's start the show off with an email. This is from Tammy, who says, how much difference money-wise is retiring at age 62 versus retiring at 65? I think this is a question from Tammy about Social Security. And by the way, Tammy says, do your benefits and dollar increase every year after you retired at 62? I'm a nurse. I'm physically and mentally done. All right. Can we just focus on the last sentence? If you're physically and mentally done, we got to talk to you. I really want to talk to you because it may be that if you retire at age 62 and not at age 65, and you claim your Social Security retirement benefits early, and it's not 65, it's probably 67 is your full retirement age, you will have a permanent reduction in your Social Security benefits. As far as if you are entitled to a pension, that also may play a role, but it probably won't be nearly as bad as the haircut you take on Social Security. So to get to your larger issue, if you are physically and mentally done, the thing that is important is that we start running some of these numbers. So we would like to know, Tammy, could you come join us? Because we want to find out, number one, how much money have you set aside already for your saving and investing and retirement accounts? Number two, how much money do you spend? If you don't spend a lot of money and you are actually entitled to a pension and that pension will cover your needs, then you're in great shape. And number three, even if you do retire early at 62, we probably would delay you claiming your Social Security if you can afford to do so until your full retirement age. So, Tammy, we want to hear from you. Please come back and give us a holler. And please, because these are big decisions. Okay, Mark, get ready. This is a question from Mary in Connecticut, who wants to ask a very provocative question. It's one that Mark's been asking in the subject line. Is it time to sell I-bonds? Ha. Hi, Jill and Mark. I was lucky enough to be on your show last November, and I've got a new question. During the period of high interest rates, I purchased a $10,000 I-bond. Recently, Mark made a comment that it might be time to sell the I-bond since rates are currently low, meaning the rate that is credited to the I-bond, and they are certainly lower than Mary had realized. Okay. Mary says, one suggestion you made in our call in November was for me to beef up my brokerage account. So I'm wondering, should I sell the $10,000 in the I-bonds? This is also the first year that I'm contributing to a Roth 401k instead of a traditional. Per your advice, I'm going to be paying more in taxes. Thanks again for helping and teaching so many of us. I never miss your show. Hope you're having a fantastic summer. Best regards, Mary in Connecticut. Okay, Mark, want to talk about the I-bond situation and what Mary should consider and what should everybody consider as they are thinking about their I-bonds right now?
Well, I mean, personally, I'm kind of over I-bonds. I don't see the attraction anymore. I think it was almost like a one-year wonder.
We were early in that, by the way. I just want to say we were very early on that bandwagon. Just one quick thing. Series I savings bond right now, just to give you a sense of this, gang. What did we get when we were first, like 9-ish when we were talking about it, right? That was the first 6 months. I think 7 and then 9 was where we saw the Series I savings bond. So the interest on an I-bond is a combination. There's a fixed rate, which is 0.9%, and then they put an inflation rate on top of that. So for I-bonds issued from May of this year through October of this year, the combined rate is 4.3%. All right, so Mary bought this in November. So what happens if Mary sells this after a year of owning it?
She will lose out on the previous 3 months of interest. I think the bigger question is, she has this stuff in I-bonds. So does she consider this part of her emergency reserve? If so, I wouldn't sell and put it in a brokerage account. If she's going to sell, put it in a money market.
So there we go. So what you're saying is, okay, so first of all, for Mary and everyone else like Mary, you bought a bond, you're going to hang on to it for at least a year. If this was safe money that you were just parking, fine. There's not a problem with that. Maybe after a year, you pull it out and you find a high yield, more liquid money market or CD rate. If this was a way to park some money, that maybe you'd want to actually put some money into a brokerage account, well, this might be a good place to start seeding that account. But Mark, if the I bond was being used just for safe money, should people blow out of it or not?
I am.
And you are and what's your rationale?
I can get at least as good as, if not better rates in some of the high yield money market accounts.
It is true, but those interest rates are also going to go down. When do you not have to pay that 3 months after? Is it a 5-year deal?
Yeah, I think it's 5 years.
I mean, I see your point. I bought mine. I think I put 20 grand in, 10 and 10. I'm just trying to think when I did it. I did it pretty early because I think I did 7. I put some at 7 and then I did some when they were 9. I haven't even thought about it. All right. Well, listen, Mary, you're going to decide what to do. Okay. Hi, Jill. I hope you're well. This is from Jorge. I hear you on CBS Radio every weekend. I'm glad I found you. I enjoy your show. I'm 48 years old. I would like to hear about your recommendations about what to do with previous employer 401k accounts that I have at Fidelity. Mark, this is like the previous retirement account episode. It's great. By the way, check out my blog post that talks about mid-year money because this is a big part of it, like consolidating old accounts. So Jorge's not contributing to these accounts anymore. He's got a new 401k. It's with Voya. So his question is, roll over the 2 accounts in rollover IRA at Fidelity or leave them as they are? I'd roll them over as Fidelity rollover accounts use index funds and, diversify them. But don't put it into that Voya account because Fidelity funds are going to be cheaper than Voya funds. This question is from Lydia. Question is about their wills trust paperwork. Okay. We want to do a total rewrite of our wills and trust, but until then, we want to first change our beneficiary list for various reasons. We don't want the beneficiaries as they are currently stated. Can we just change beneficiary list now by using the same wording as currently in our will, sign it in front of a notary, and title the updated list as an addendum? We intend to get complete overhaul, but right now there's too many things to take care of. I always get nervous about these legal documents, Mark, because, it's like the real deal, right? I presume it's fine. What I would probably do is is it possible that you just literally say to the lawyer who drafted your paperwork, can you change our beneficiary list and here's the addendum and just like pay this person a few $100 just to do that? Don't you find that wouldn't that be a little bit better, Mark, than just doing it themselves? I get nervous.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't do it myself. And I just wonder when she's talking about updating beneficiaries, like, is she talking about beneficiaries on, say, like in a retirement account? Because to do that, you can do that yourself.
Yeah. I mean, any beneficiary that's in a transfer on death account, a life insurance policy, or on a retirement account, you can do that. The thing I think she may be talking about is the beneficiaries of the residual of the estate, is my guess. Because that would be like, hey, here's a list of people who would get stuff. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. If you've got a question, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get your note. While you're on the website, check out all the cool stuff that's there. We've got the free weekly newsletter, and we've got my book, The Great Money Reset. You can also subscribe to our new service. It's called Jill on Money Live. That is a great way for you to join in with more access to quarterly live webinars and more bonus content. Okay, let's get going here. Let's talk to Danielle, who's on the line from Denver. Hi, Danielle. How are you?
Hello, good. How are you?
Great. What brings you to our program today? What can we do for you?
I just am looking for your advice about what to do with some the money that I have, some proceeds from the sale of a rental property.
Oh, that's
the
cool.
sale has not gone through yet.
Mm-hmm. What will the proceeds be?
I'll have about $400,000, and so I'm going to keep back about $50,000, and then I'll have about $350 to invest.
Is the $50,000 for something else or for taxes or what?
No, it's just for emergency fund.
And is that $400 that you're going to receive? Is that it? Have you accounted for taxes or not?
It's in a trust where it's a 501c3, so it doesn't have to file tax returns and it doesn't have to pay tax.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. Okay. So Danielle, before we spend all of your money, let's find out a little bit about you. How old are you?
67.
Amazing to have such a big chunk of money come into your life at that point in your life. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
And are you working still?
Yes.
How much do you
And
earn?
I plan to keep working. I sell insurance. I'm kind of between jobs, but my new job is hopefully going to make me about $100,000 a year.
Okay. Are you an independent contractor?
Yes.
Okay. And do you...
So I get to write off all the expenses.
Got it. And are you single, married, partnered?
Married.
Okay. How old is your spouse?
63.
Okay. Does your spouse work also?
Yes, he's a handyman.
Okay. So how much does he make approximately?
Approximately $15,000 a year.
Okay. Got it. And on your 100 and his 15, how is your cash flow? You living okay? Is it tight? How do you feel?
The house is paid for, so we just have monthly expenses.
How much are the monthly expenses?
Around $2,000.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's amazing. How much is your house worth?
About $650.
Kids? No, grown, fine? Grown. I like that. Have you put money into an IRA, a Roth IRA, or any other kind of retirement plan?
I have about $400,000.
In a retirement account?
Yes.
Okay. And is it what kind? Is it an IRA? Is it just yourself?
IRA, yeah.
Okay. You already said to me you're going to put 50 grand of the proceeds in an emergency reserve fund. So I presume that means you don't have a lot of money in cash right now, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
So you'll have 50,000 in the bank. Of the 350, anything else that has to happen with that money, do you think? Like no house stuff, no bills, no debt, nothing else?
No.
When you're 70, tell me about your Social Security. What will it be?
Well, I'm already taking it at $741.
Oh, you took it, huh? Okay. All right. What about him? Did he take it also?
Not yet.
All right. So he's going to hold off. So when you say $2,000 a month in expenses, does that mean that, the Social Security would be part of that? So, or do you really think it's closer to more like $3,000 a month?
It's between $2,000 and $2,500.
Let's say $2,500. Let's just for the heck of it. What will your husband's Social Security benefit be if he waits till his full retirement age? And should he just take half of yours?
His right now is about maybe $550. So I don't know what it'll be at 70.
All right. Maybe it'll be like 6-ish. Let's count on 6. So what do you do with that Social Security check right now? You just bank it?
Yes.
Okay.
I still have a car payment.
Oh, wait. How much is that?
About $350.
Is it a loan or a lease?
It's a loan, but I plan to pay it off once I sell the property.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So how much is remaining on that loan?
About $9,000.
All right. So wait a second. So now we've got the 50 grand that goes into the emergency reserve.
But I took the 9 out of the, so I have 350 to work with. Already considered.
Look at you. You're doing all the work for me.
I listen to your show every Sunday, so I'm right on.
All right. Excellent. A radio show listener. I love that.
Yes.
Okay. So now, what's your experience with the IRA? How have you been managing that so far, like in your life? Do you do it? Does someone else do it?
No, I do it. It's just sitting there.
It's sitting there like what, in a bank or in an investment account?
It's just sitting in a bank.
In a cash?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. How do you feel about investing it?
I think I should.
Are you scared though?
Well, the way the market is, yeah.
Mark, we have $750,000 to invest for Danielle. It's a lot. Do you feel like you'd like some help with that? Do you want to do it yourself? Like, tell me the truth.
No, I need help with that.
What I think you should do is I think it's worth getting involved and having some sort of relationship with someone who can help you manage the money. Now,
well, I did reach out to somebody a week or so ago. He's the one that's advising an annuity, a structured note.
No. Definitely not. So when you reached out to somebody, which you probably didn't realize is that you were reaching out to someone who is a insurance salesperson. And that I want to nip that right in the bud. What I think would make sense would be to work with someone who can walk you through. And I mean walk you through because, there's some people who can do this on their own. Oh, I'm going to buy some mutual funds or index funds and all that. You want some help. So the way that you can get help is you can go through a large firm and get somebody who will charge you a lot of money. That's not great. You could go through a big firm that will just give you an automatic investment platform. I think you want a person. And the other one that you chose, which is like not your fault, because how would you know, is that you reach out to someone who supposedly knows what they're doing and they end up selling you an insurance product. So if you hang on the line, Mark is going to give you the name of an organization that helps people like you. What I'm most concerned with is that someone doesn't just sell you something, that they help you invest and manage this process. And I think that would be the most helpful for you, really. Because otherwise, this person's going to sell you a product and then you're going to be stuck in a product and you don't need that. We want you to, once you buy an insurance product, then you're stuck with that product for 10 years. And I don't think that's going to be in your best interest. So a couple of other things that I want to make sure about. Number one, do you guys have your estate documents done?
No.
Oh.
I knew you were going to ask.
I know,
me that.
I know. I'm a pain in the tush. I think that's important, not because, listen, if you were to die, the IRA would pass to your husband. He's the beneficiary of it, right? The other money would have to be probated, but would also go to him. But one other thing to think about is that you would have an account that's called, because the 350 is not going to be a joint asset. It's just in your name, right?
Right.
You would want to create an account that's called a transfer on death account, where your husband would inherit the account upon your death. And it's very easy. It really does help avoid a lot of hassle in the probate process. The house would go to him because he's a joint owner. So all these things are good. But I think the more important thing, Danielle, is you're 67 years old. He's 63. Something bad happens. You want to have stuff written down on paper. Especially, you're an insurance salesperson. You probably know a lawyer or two in town. Just get someone to just draft, again, once you get the money from the rental property sale, part of that money, use it to get the estate documents done. Truly, it's more important than investing it. If you would like to join us on the air, all you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll get your note. The Jill on Money Show will be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. So if you've got a big choice to make, maybe it's a new job, maybe you're relocating, maybe you're thinking about upsizing or downsizing, or maybe you're ready to do a huge project in your house because you don't want to give up that low mortgage interest rate. Whatever the idea you're wrestling with, Mark and I are both certified financial planners, and we would love to help you out. All you need to do is go to jillonmoney.com and click the Contact Us button. If you'd like to come on the air, just check that little box and Mark will do everything else. Right now, let's do an email. This one is from Mark. I listen to your podcast daily. The question I have is for my daughter, but as a father, I feel I face the same pressures, if not more, in her decision. Okay, I like that. Daughter is 26, makes $105,000 a year, no debt, $120,000 in savings, $30,000 in a 401k, and she contributes 10%. How about that? That's great. Daughter's fiance is 30, makes $120,000, 90 grand of student loan debt, $40,000 of savings, $50,000 in a 401k, also contributes 10%. He's going to need a new car in the next couple of years. They're planning on getting married next year and have begun house hunting. House hunting? Oh, she's so young, 26 and 30. Here's the issue. With house prices and mortgage rates still high, I really feel they could regret their decision in the years ahead and wish that they would have waited for the real estate market to improve. But it is hard to get them to understand this, and they are focused on buying this year. Listen to this, Mark. We live in Connecticut. The average price for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that is 1,600 square feet is $400 grand. That's the average price. So they'd have to put 80 down, get pre-approved for a mortgage at 6.5%. What can I tell them to do, or what do you suggest they do? I do not want to see them put so much into the house that they end up paying it off for the rest of their lives. They also love to travel and golf, and these are expensive things. Thanks for your advice. I want to get this daughter on the air right now. I don't understand why people get so apoplectic about, oh my God, I've got to go buy a house right now. She's got 120 grand in savings. Is her intention to use some of that savings to help pay down his debt? I guess I'm not sure what they are thinking. Are they going to just, okay, we're putting our financial lives together. She puts down the 80 grand from her savings, but now they have to make a mortgage payment, a student loan payment. Like, this seems to me putting a lot of pressure on them prematurely. So here's what I would do. If I had your daughter and soon to be son-in-law on the line, I would say, I would first concentrate on paying down my student loan debt. That would be number one. Obviously, she has this money that's in savings. Together they have $170,000. So let's just say they pay down the debt. They've got savings now. They've got their 6 to 12 months. Now they have to go and rebuild the accounts so that they can get a mortgage. I would feel much better if there was no student loan debt. They've got the new car and they own it outright, by the way, maybe, or with a very small loan. And then they rebuild and we see where the market is. I would delay by at least a couple of years. I think that's what I would do. What about you, Mark?
I think I agree. I would like to get rid of the student loan debts before they make this purchase, but let's just pretend that they do that. I mean, these guys can definitely afford a $400,000 house. I don't think that's a problem. And I would not be scared off by the interest rate. I know it's high now, but there will be a time in the future to refinance. So that wouldn't scare me off.
And they could also potentially get an adjustable rate and refi within the next, say, 7 or 10 years, right? They could have a lower rate for 7 or 10 years. To me, if I were their financial advisor, if I were like the CFP in their lives, I would feel much more comfortable getting rid of one debt, getting that car done, rebuilding, and see where the market is. Nothing's going to happen that's so bad. What if the average price goes to $500,000, but interest rates go down? They're still in a better financial situation, not being levered up so much. And maybe I also would want to know like what industries they're in and what risks there are to their earning potential and what potential upside they have. So all of these play a role.
we're kind of in the market, but we're not in any rush. So we're just kind of looking. But as I see $400,000 and to me, I'm like, man, that's so cheap.
Yeah, I mean, 400,000. It could be a mansion someplace, could be cheap someplace else. But also, I mean, I think that I really believe that people rush into buying homes without really crunching the numbers. They'll say, "Oh, well, I'm a pre-approved for blank." Yeah, okay, but it doesn't mean you should do that. Jody wants to know: is there a net worth at which you would suggest purchasing umbrella insurance? I mean, I think an umbrella insurance, which kind of covers you for all this other stuff, is usually attached to a homeowner's policy. It's always a good idea to have a little extra in case, for example, someone does work in your house. I don't know if there's a net worth as much as, do you have some assets? Do you want a little layer of protection? Do you have some other business that could put you at risk? Umbrella insurance is really cheap. So generally speaking, I say go for it.
It is cheap, but the one thing I think people don't understand sometimes is that you have to have really, really good baseline coverage on your homeowner policy and your auto policy. So if you're not at those baselines, you're going to have to increase that coverage, and that will cause your premiums to go up.
All right, there you go. Spoken like the expert that he is. So again, this is extra protection beyond the existing limit of your homeowners and your auto policy. So if you don't know, it's worth shopping around and just looking at your insurance coverage to see what is covered. So umbrella insurance is usually like injuries and property damage and some kinds of lawsuits. And so anyway, I think that's it's worth saying that we should have not so much of a dollar amount, a net worth amount, but you should be clear that your underlying insurance, as Mark said, is up to snuff. And so it behooves you to go check out your homeowner's policy right now anyway, because you'd be surprised what is and is not covered. We'll get back to the Jill on Money show in just a minute. All of our content lives at jillonmoney.com, so check it out. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money show, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions, or at least show you that there are many paths to get to where you want to go. If you've got a question, all you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and let us know if you would be willing to come on the air live. You do that by checking the little box. Now, while you're on the website, which you should bookmark, I would encourage you to check out all of the free stuff that's there, like our 2 podcasts. There's one called Jill on Money that comes out daily, and then there's the Money Watch podcast, which comes out twice a week. There is also a link to videos that I've done, appearances on CBS News, and the resources section, which is chock full of great stuff for you, which might just help you make better decisions going forward. As always, if any of that stuff conjures up a question, just hit the Contact Us button and we'll get your note. Right now, let's do an email, because I know we've got some shy people who listen to the program. They don't want to come on live. Let's take this email from Allison. The subject is, should I keep the pension or withdraw the funds? Hi, Jill and Mark. I love the show. I listen to every episode. Thank you for providing such valuable content. My question is about an old retirement account. I have about $16,000 in a state retirement fund. It's only earning about 2% interest. Should I leave the money in this account and draw the $328 a month when I reach age 65? Or should I withdraw the funds and reinvest in my own brokerage account? I'm currently 32 years old. It is unlikely that I would add any more years of service or contributions to this pension. However, I am working in another state now, and I'm working towards another pension. Thanks for your advice. Well, I think that you kind of gave us the information we needed in that you are 32 years old. There's only 16 grand in here. I'm inclined to say let's roll it over into an IRA rollover account. Don't just take it out, because I think if you take it out, you're going to get taxed on it, Allison. So let's make sure that you roll it over, no tax event, and go ahead and invest it. And I think that that would be just fine. Okay, this is from Cynthia, who writes, I have an elderly aunt. She's 92 years old. She's got no will. Oh, brother, here we go. She's caught in a drama triangle with my cousin, who is unfortunately an addict. I have tried to no avail to get her to draft a will. I have also talked to her about a trust, maybe drafting a spendthrift trust for my cousin. I'm very concerned. She has my grandparents' home, that one that my grandfather built. What advice can you give? Oh, dear. Mark, I don't know what to do with this. I mean, you're trying to get someone to help her help herself and protect her assets. I wonder what is it that she's resistant about? Because maybe the way to approach it, Cynthia, is to say, I know that you want this money to go to cousin whoever. I know that that's important to you. Let's make sure that we do this in a way that the cousin won't blow through the whole thing. If you can't do it yourself, is there someone else she really trusts in her life? Is there, who does her taxes? Maybe a CPA could help. Maybe a friend who is a lawyer can help. At the end of the day, if she does nothing, then the state in which she resides and then dies will determine where her money goes. And if it's her son who is the only one who would receive money, this poor guy who's, or I don't know, you didn't say a girl or a guy, the spendthrift cousin, unfortunately, if that's the only heir, that's probably who's going to get all the money. But there's not a lot to do if she is unwilling to make this decision. And it's so funny because it's really about protecting her money and making sure that the cousin gets it in a way that's going to be okay. But wow, that's a bummer of a question. Oh boy, here we go. Timeshare exit question. Mark, my mother-in-law used to say about timeshares.
They're for suckers.
Timeshares are for suckers. That's what she said. Fabulous. All right. Karen says, hi, Jill. My husband and I are big fans of yours. We enjoy listening to you, sharing your abundance of knowledge in clear, concise, and easy to follow language. Okay, here's the question. Karen owns a timeshare. She says, we regret buying it. However, after much research, I am unable to surface a legitimate law firm or advisor to help us exit. We would greatly appreciate any and all recommendations. Thank you, Karen. Oh, these timeshares, I don't understand how they're so hard to get out of. So there's no way to sell it back. There's probably, you've already investigated, like trying to sell it on a secondary market. Is there someone in your family where they would take it on? Is there, I don't know, these are they're just confounding. Sometimes you can donate them to a charity. Like, here's my 2 weeks. I think you just sell it on a resale market, but you're going to take a big hit. So that's kind of it. If you just stop paying, the thing that's really rough is that you then essentially have some sort of legal ding on your record. So I don't know, the developer, but I would sell it. I think that's what I would do. I wouldn't care what it costs to get out. I would literally give it away, and you can gift it to somebody maybe, but that's about it. This is stinko. Don't buy timeshares, gang. Don't buy stuff that you can't get out of. That's really the most important thing. If you have a question about your financial life, just give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get your note. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. So let's answer an email right now. This is from Mary Lynn, who writes, "My husband and I are considering naming a bank to be the executor for our wills. We are wondering the pros and the cons of this arrangement. We are also having trouble narrowing down an institution that could handle specific issues, like the fact that we live in a rural area and keep our horses and cats on our property. Any ideas for us?" Well, Mary Lynn, this is a tough one because the big con of using a bank as a trustee is about the cost. You know, the reality is that many of these organizations will not handle an estate with less than a certain amount of assets. And when they do, it is usually for a big fee. However, when you do use a bank as a trustee or an executor, they keep great records. They hopefully will invest the assets prudently. They help with preparing and filing income tax returns and help manage tax consequences. So all of that is great, but I'm really wondering if there's anyone else available who could help you guys out. If not, you may be kind of stuck, and I would definitely encourage you to seek the guidance of a qualified estate planning attorney. That is the professional that can help craft the documents where you can make certain bequests known, you can make your wishes known, and maybe we can even deal with the animals and make that known. Anyway, it's a tough situation. If you have a big estate planning question or any financial question on your mind, all you need to do is go to the website, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. Don't forget to let us know if you would be willing to come on the air. While you're on the website, check out all the great content that lives there. Our new service is called Jill on Money Live, which gives you access to quarterly live webinars and lots of great bonus content. All right, we've got a whole nother hour ahead. This is the Jill on Money Show. JillOnMoney.com is our website. You can check that out while we're on the break. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money Show, and we are here answering your financial questions. If you have one, just go to the website, jillonmoney.com, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. If you don't want to come on the air, then make sure you give us lots of details. But if you do want to come on the air, kind of go easy on you. You see how great that is? Right now, we are starting this hour off with Jennifer, who's on the line from Washington State. Hello, Jennifer. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you, Jill and Mark?
Fantastic. What can we do for you today?
Well, Jill, I called you back in March of 2021, and I was trying to set myself up to scale back from work by the end of 2025. Now we are about 2.5 years away from that, and a lot has changed since I called you last. And we also recently got a lump sum of money, and I'm trying to figure out what we should do with that.
So tell us a little bit about what is going on. Like people are not going to remember your exact situation. So give us a backgrounder and tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Okay. Well, I am married. My husband is going to be 58 next month, and I am 47. He is officially retired since the last time I talked to you. He was on a workers' compensation claim, and that was recently settled, hence the settlement that we got that I'm wanting to talk to you about. And I work full-time in education.
What do you think in terms of you're so much younger than he is. So I'm just wondering, do you guys have some game plan in mind?
Well, my game plan was in 2 years or 2.5 years, I wanted to scale back working. whether that was to go remote or something part-time. Because he's retired, I want to spend more time with him. And we have children who live, in different areas of the country, and I want to be able to kind of visit where they are.
All right, that makes sense. I like that. So what about your situation? Let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So right now, he is retired. Just give us a little bit like what's going on with him.
Okay. So for the last 5 years, he's been on workers' compensation and getting payments from them. He was also approved for Social Security disability. So he receives about $2,300 a month from SSDI. And when he turns 60, he will have a small pension of about $500 a month.
Okay. And what are you earning right now?
About $90,000 a year.
All right. That's a lot of moolah. When you talk about scaling back, what do you think that means? Like, are you really asking me, do we have enough money so you can just stop working? Or are you going to make less money? Like, what do you think?
I think just less money. I know I want to at least do something like I'm hoping remote, maybe $50,000 a year.
What if we made it 40 just for the heck of it?
Okay.
I like to we're going to downsize it a little bit. How much are you guys spending right now?
I would say we've been doing a lot of traveling lately. So if I look at just, that is. If I look at just what we need to live a month, it's probably around $5,000, but we've probably been spending closer to six and a half.
Let's look at 6. Why not? Why don't we just try to shoot for what you're doing right now, right? Doesn't that make more sense?
Yes.
Okay. So we're really looking at 2 years from now. So you still will have your $90,000 a year, and that's fine, right? In 2 years, he'll have $2,800 a month in SSDI plus his $500, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we're also going to have your 40, though I'm kind of wondering whether we're really going to need that at all. And so we obviously have a gap. Will you be entitled to a pension or Social Security?
Both.
Oh, tell me more.
So I work in education. It was a second career for me. So when I turn 60, I'll have a pension probably around $1,500 to $1,700 a month.
Okay. And Social Security, you will also be able to claim Social Security, right?
Correct.
I want to ask a question that's probably a little bit rough, so I might as well just ask it. I'm thinking about it as we're talking through. Is your husband's disability one that would really impact his life expectancy, do you think?
No.
Okay. I'm sorry to ask that. It's just I'm kind of worried about you, so I'm thinking about that ahead of time, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you will be entitled to Social Security, so that's good. Do you happen to have that number offhand, like what your Social Security retirement benefit would be at your age 67? Do you know that?
Yeah, it's about $2,500 a month.
Okay. So what we know about this is, as I look at this, right, you've got $4,000 with you, right? Your pension and your Social Security. He would have $2,800, and that's pretty good, right? Like right there. So then what do you have in terms of savings that could help fund the gap between, I would say your age, let's call it the 10 years or so that you're going to need, right? 10 or 12 years. How much money have you set aside in savings?
So I have an IRA rollover that has $395,000.
Wow. Okay.
My current 401k has $15,000. A 457 that has $44,000, a Roth IRA that has $43,000, and then I just have a small little 403b that has $1,000 in it.
You got a lot of accounts all over the place, lady. We got to consolidate some of this. No?
Yes.
All right. And this is all your retirement assets. Does your husband also have retirement assets?
Yes. He has a 401k from his previous, employer that he just retired from. So I'm thinking about just rolling that over into his IRA, but that one has $318,000. And then he has an IRA rollover of $44,000, and then just a baby Roth of about $600.
Your house, where do you live, and how much is it worth, and how much, is there any debt outstanding?
Yes, we have a home, but there's no mortgage. It's worth about $230,000. And then we also have a vacation home in Florida that's worth about $250,000, and the mortgage on that is about $140,000.
That's something you want to keep, like you're happy, it's good, everything's cool with that, right?
Absolutely.
How much is the interest rate on the mortgage? What is it?
Less than 3%.
Okay, great. And right now, considering that you're making $90,000 and, even though you spend $6,000 a month, as you said, it's a little bit like maybe that's a little bit more, but your cash flow is okay right now?
Yes, I'm maxing out an HSA, and I'm putting about $6,000 a year into a brokerage account. So we're saving pretty well on that.
Wait a second. Where did you tell me the brokerage account was? Because I have we're going to just go through this again. The IRA rollover, your current retirement account of $457, a Roth, and $1,000 that I wrote down somewhere. Where's the brokerage account in this?
I have that at Vanguard, and I just started it, so there's only $7,200 there.
Okay, but you're adding how much a month?
About $6,000 a year.
And you're maxing out your retirement account, right?
No, I only put about 6% in there right now.
Oh, you're maxing out your HSA and you're putting 6% in the retirement account. We'll get back to Jennifer in just a minute. If you've got a financial question, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and if you want to come on the air, you check the little box and Mark does everything else because that's how great he is. Jill on Money. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. Not the best, better. Isn't that a low bar? It's so much easier. You may have a ton of different options, and we might be able to parse through those options and help you prioritize and learn which is the best for you and your family. We can only do that when you get in touch with us. To do that, just go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, check the little box if you want to come on the air. Otherwise, just hit send and we'll get your note. Right now, we are going back to Jennifer, who's on the line from Washington State. All right, what else do we need to think about? Tell me other issues that are floating around for you.
Okay. So we just got this settlement from workers' compensation. So right now I have about $160,000 in cash.
Wow.
And I have just been in analysis paralysis. We do have a car loan that I just recently acquired. It has about $20,000 on the balance, and the interest rate on that is 4.74%.
All right, we can pay that off.
And then I thought, what do I do with this cash? Do I fund our Roth IRAs for this year? Do I purchase CDs? Do I just throw it in the brokerage account? I just really don't know what to do with it.
I don't like the idea of throwing things. All right, let's not throw it in. And no. Okay. So I think definitely pay off the car loan. How much money do you have in cash? What's the emergency reserve look like right now?
Well, the 160 encapsulates everything. So we had about $30,000 in emergency reserve before we got the settlement.
Mm-hmm. But that emergency reserve, I think, is a little light, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think is the right number? I mean, obviously, if it's $5,000 a month of a spend, then I would say, $5,000 times 12 months, right? So we'd want 60 in there.
Okay.
So I think that of the 160 that you have, the workers' comp settlement, 30 of it should be in the emergency reserve. And I'm sorry, you said 160 is the total cash right now, or that's the workman's comp? Like
that's the total. That's the total cash.
Okay. So of that total cash, I think 60 stays in emergency reserve, right? 20 goes and pays off the car loan because 4.74%, let's get rid of it. Then we'll also streamline your cash flow a little bit, don't you think?
Yes.
Okay, good. So then we have $80,000 that we're talking about. So anything big coming up that we would need that $80,000 for?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Now here's the question. So let's just say that you're going to do the Roths for this year. how do you feel about the brokerage account right now in terms of your investing? Do you feel nervous about it?
I'm not quite sure what to put it in, to be honest with you.
Okay, let's talk about that then. Right now with the 7,200, what do you use in terms of your in terms of the investments inside of there?
Right now, I just have it in a money market.
Okay, well that's getting that's getting some money. So let's talk about your investing in your other accounts. Where is it that you feel most comfortable investing? Like where have you been like, did you just like in your retirement accounts, you got a whole bunch of money in your rollover. Where is that rollover held?
Mostly in index funds. I have a couple of different stocks that an old financial advisor put me in that I just haven't gotten out of. And the rest of it is just in Vanguard index funds.
All right. So you could replicate something like that in the brokerage account. Now, first of all, once you have your emergency reserve all set, and once you don't have that car loan, I think you'll feel a little bit more comfortable getting the money to work, right? Because as you said, analysis paralysis is like, it is for real. So we're going to put of your 80, we have 14 grand, 60, because you're so young. So we have 65 in your Roth. We have 75 in his Roth. And that means that we've got this chunk O money that is still left. I guess the question is how you want to get that money working for you. Do you want to do it all at once or do you want to dollar cost average?
I would like to do it all at once.
You really? I totally thought that you I really thought you were going to be like, no, I need to go slow. Okay. The 67,000. Tell me about your risk tolerance. Like really be honest with me because it's weird. You're young still. I mean, you're not even 50 yet. So there's a case to be made that you're like, I can be really aggressive. And to some extent, because you're younger than your husband, it makes me feel like you should be willing to, at least put some of this money to work and get it moving for you. But how do you feel about risk?
You will probably crack up at this, but I've always kind of thought about our pension money as kind of our safe money or kind of the bond part of our portfolio. So totally. I think I'm probably 90% in one total stock market index fund.
Damn, that girl is banging it. Okay, so I will put some of the money in a bond fund. Yes, you're right. It is true that the pension acts as a buffer against a lot of stuff, but we may need to dip into this money, right? We may need to actually use this. So I'm thinking that, Mark, would you be opposed if I said 60% total stock market and 20% in the international and then 20% in the bond, 60, 20, 20, or do you think we should go 60, 10, 20, 60, 10, 30 rather?
No, I would do 60, 20, 20.
How does that sound to you, Jennifer? Like, do you feel okay about that? Like, I mean, I'm telling you right now that the day we do this and you pull the trigger, I know what's going to happen. The market's going to tumble and you're going to say, damn it, that Jill. And I say this with the absolute knowledge that we could be dead wrong. Anyway, so how do you feel?
I think that's good. It's more bond position than I have. And I felt that, we're getting older. And like you said, we might need to tap this money sooner.
Yep.
So I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
Now, listen, the other thing about this plan is that I don't know how long you'll make 40 grand a year remote. Like I have in the back of my head this feeling that maybe that's going to be like a year and you're going to be like, done, because you're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, the longer you have some consistent stream of income beyond your husband's SSDI, which will just turn into regular old Social Security, the better off you'll be, right? I mean, there's a part of me that's like, I hope that you keep, we have some money working and maybe when you get to 2 years from now, you say, geez, I don't want to give up my 90 grand. That could happen too. But I think that your plan is quite doable. I really do. And you've saved a lot of money. You have, essentially by the time you get to your full retirement age, which is, it's 20 years from now, but like, we just want to make sure that you don't plow through all of your money between now and then. And I think that, the other thing is that, you mentioned some kids and grandkids, I presume also.
One on the way.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to pop in here with this little reminder. You don't have so much money that you can start giving away tons of your money. Okay. I want you to hear that. And the reason is that you're young. All right. I don't want to see you make big proclamations to like, oh, we'll fund college. Like, hang on. Don't do that. You are young. Your retirement could last a very long time, and your semi-retirement also. So while I am completely on board with you feeling like, gosh, I really want to make sure I spend time with my husband. You've obviously gone through a lot, right? Like, you don't go through a disability and a working, like, it's a lot of stuff. I get it. But what I don't want you to do is think that it's not like smooth sailing. You don't have $3 million saved. You've got hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's great, but you don't have so much money that you can afford to start funding college and big time gifts and helping someone buy a house. None of that can happen right now. I need to get you through this next period, really understanding what it is you will be earning in this scale back period.
I gotcha.
Do you hear that?
I do.
Okay, good. You got your estate documents done?
Absolutely. Got them done prior to the pandemic.
Oh, that's so good. Fantastic. We'll get back to more of your questions. This is the Jill on Money Show. JillOnMoney.com is the website. Check it out. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are trying to take the mystery out of your financial life one listener at a time. And to do that, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get your note. Right now, let's talk to Emily. She's on the line from Colorado. Hello, Emily. How are you?
Oh, hi, Jill. Thanks for having me on.
Happy to do so. Tell us what brings you to us.
Well, I'm 63 years old. I'm a self-employed paralegal. And, most days I love my job and I'm fine working. But there are some days I just wish I had, the freedom to go camping, do whatever I want to do. And I think about being retired. And also being 63, some of my friends, are starting to leave their jobs behind. And it's just, I start to think about it more and more. So I love your show, and I thought I'd check in with you and see if you think I could retire sometime between now and when I'm 65.
Sometime between now and infinity. Okay, let's do that. I know that feeling, Emily, because I'm in my late 50s, and I have that same situation where people are just, you notice, like in your social group, people are talking about it more. I didn't even really think about it, until like many of my contemporaries started to say, well, how much longer now? And now start to meet people and know people who've done it. It's just amazing. So tell us about how much you earn as a self-employed paralegal.
Well, I was just trying to check on that. And last year it was a gross of $45,700.
With that $45,700, is that sufficient to cover your spending needs?
More than sufficient. I've live a really frugal life, and I have a partner, and he tends to spend money on dinner, and if we go places, he usually pays. And my car is paid off, our house is paid off, so I don't spend a lot. And I spend a lot of time working, so I'm just have a pretty minimalist life going here. So I only need about $2,500 a month.
Okay, that's great. Do you and your partner keep your money separate?
We do. I have no idea what he has.
I hope a lot, which is great. How much is the house worth? You own that together?
We don't own it together. I'm not on the title, but I did help pay some expenses along the way, and I know it. I'm in the will, and I know it'll come to me if he dies before I do. So I'm not worried about the house. House is paid off, and it's worth about somewhere probably around $400,000.
when you have that gross income, do you make retirement plan contributions as well?
I did for years, but because I'm got my eye on retirement, I've started putting it in cash.
Good. That's fine. That's fine. So when I look at the amount of money that you're earning, the amount of money that you're spending, after taxes and after spending, are you putting some specific dollar amount away in savings, or are you just doing it on an ad hoc basis?
It's ad hoc. I put a third away of every time I check, because with self-employment, everything's all over the place in terms of income. So I put a third of every check that comes in into a savings account for taxes. And I tend to get a big tax refund. And then like this year I had a big car repair bill I ended up spending most of it on, but whatever's left over, I put in my cash online savings account.
Okay. How much is in the cash account right now?
50,000. Of that 50, I have 30 kind of set aside for 1 year's worth of retirement. And then the other 20 is like my emergency fund and, fund for my next car, that kind of thing.
Got it. Okay. Tell us about other savings and investing that you have done as you've worked through the last few decades.
Well, for a while, until last year, I had funds all over the place from my various employers, and they were all kind of high fee. And last fall, I consolidated everything into Vanguard, and I have $400,000 in a traditional rollover IRA and $25,000 in a Roth.
Great. And that's basically it. The traditional and the Roth. No brokerage account, no stock floating around. My grandpa bought stock and left it to me. Nothing like that, right?
No, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, it's all right. You've done a great job. When you look ahead at your Social Security benefit, what does that look like at your full retirement age of 67?
It's about $2,600.
That's weird because you only need $2,500 a month. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
You have to pay tax and all that on that. I know. And we have to have Medicare. So it won't be $2,600 a month, right, that you'll have net. But, it'll be pretty close to what you need. And you're 63 and you said, because you're self-employed, I guess I'm wondering, is it possible that you can work for a few more years and maybe pull back some after 65? Like, how do you look at that?
Well, that's the thing. I've tended to say yes every time a job comes along. I've been doing this for 4 years now, and so I have a big workload right now. And I think that might be part of the problem is
you're exhausted.
To just say no. Exactly.
Yeah. Do you know what my favorite thing? I was just listening to a podcast and someone quoted someone else who quoted someone else, but some woman who said, "No is a complete sentence." You're allowed to say no. It's okay. I mean, because maybe what I'm thinking is, you can't just say no right this second. You've taken a certain amount of work on. Can you pull back after this year and instead of making 45 gross, you'd make a little bit less? Would that be, doable for you?
I think so.
How much less would you think is doable?
I mean, I have to make 30,000 or so to pay the bills and go camping once in a while.
Even if we said, what about this? You're making 45 now. What if next year it was like 35? Okay. And then what if in 2025 it was 30? You're not saving as much. I get it. But in 2025, you will be able to get Medicare, right?
Right.
How much are you paying right now for healthcare?
Well, I'm on a exchange, so hardly anything. $20 a month.
That's going to be interesting because for you, going to Medicare is going to cost more.
It will. The only thing is if something goes wrong and I have a big medical bill without being on Medicare, I'm paying it all.
Yes,
so I have
of course.
Low premium, but but I also have a lot of out of pocket.
A lot of risk. Okay. We'll get back to Emily in just a second. If you have a question, we'd love to hear from you. JillOnMoney.com is the website. Click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Right now, let's get back to Emily, who's on the line from Colorado. She wants to know whether or not she is on track for retirement. So now, when you get to age 65, 66, 67, like if you could basically just meet your basic needs between now and Social Security, 67, right? I think that you've got plenty of money, you'll be fine. Now, if you're telling me that there's no way that's going to happen, then we have to siphon off some of the money that is sitting in that traditional retirement account and pull some of that money out every year. And it might be maybe not that much. Maybe it's like 10 or 15 grand a year. And in any event, it's all going to be taxed at the 12% bracket. You're in the 12 now. You pull it out as you need it. You just can't take so much out in your 60s so that you're depleted in your 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? And we really just have to get you to your full retirement age where you're basically not 100%, but we only need, let me think, at age 67, you probably will only need about 10 grand a year coming out of your traditional account. Maybe more. I don't know, but let's see how your spending goes. That'll be it. You don't have any kids, do you? Or do you? I didn't actually ask that.
2 kids grown. They're doing well.
Okay. So we don't have to worry about them. Is there any other big ticket item that's coming up?
No, I don't think so.
I think you can do this. I think that you know what you need? It's, I've used this term before. You need a little bit of an off ramp. You really do. You need to be able to take your income and try to slow it down, right? If you can say no a little bit more often, if you can just say, I'm sorry, I can't do this, or you're going to have to raise your prices. If you are going to do it, you got to raise your prices if you're at capacity now. But I think it's no. I think no is the right answer. And I think that if you can finish up this year and you make your 45 and then next year you say no, you look at who you like working with and then get rid of the people you don't like working with. Rank them for real. Give yourself an off-ramp to get to both Medicare and Social Security. And then from there, you should be golden. You really should be. But I don't think doing this today, like, boom, I'm done. I don't think that you're in that position. I do think that if you can give yourself a little bit of time to kind of scale down, slow down, tap the brakes on the off-ramp, you'll get to 67. You'll be happy and you'll have plenty of money. And maybe your partner has a lot more money than you think. That's what I'm sort of hoping for. And then you don't have to spend any of your money.
Except that it would only be if he dies before me.
So tell me a little bit about how that works. So if he were to, is he older than you are?
He is. He's 69. He's one of the people in my life who's talking about retirement. He's real close to retirement.
And so if he were to die before you, his house, does he have children?
No.
Okay. Would he leave the house to you?
Yes, he's going to leave it. He says I'm in his will and I get everything. Okay.
That gives me a little bit of comfort, although we don't really know what his everything is. We just presume it's more than yours. And at the very least, we know that there's a $400,000 house that you will not have to worry about except paying taxes, et cetera, right?
Correct.
Okay. And it'll be maybe something else. Can you make it? Can you feel, are you going to be like, oh no, I can't make it? What do you think?
Like I said in the beginning, there are days I love my job and there are aspects of my job I love too that I know I will really miss. And if I focus on those good parts, I do think I can get to 65. And I like what you said about the off ramp and, saying no a little more often. I think I'm just at a position right now where I'm pretty overwhelmed and I just need to, like you said, tap the brakes and then the next 2 years will be even better.
Exactly. And you know what? You might find if you tap the brakes, you'll be like, hey, you know what? Actually, the level of work that I have is the good level. And maybe you say, I'm going to earn 30 grand a year for 5 more years or 8 more years. Like you have to just see. It's not a fair comparison right now. It just isn't. Now, do you have your own estate documents done?
I do.
Okay, good. And is there anything else that we need to know or help you out with before we let you go for the day?
Well, I did have one question. Should you wait until 70 if you can? I mean, I'm thinking since I don't spend that much, I could go, from 67 to 70, you depleting
It depends. Here's the thing. If possible, the answer is yes. But you don't have so much in assets that that you can just say like, well, of the money that's in the retirement account right now, right? The traditional, you have to think about this. The money hasn't been taxed yet, right? So the money that comes out has to then get taxed and then you can spend it. So you can do it. The way it works better is if, you can wait till 70, especially if you're making that 30 grand a year. But if you start to pull out 50 grand a year from a $400,000 account, you could see how quickly it goes. So we don't want to deplete it. It kind of depends. Like you'll have to give us a holler back when you get to 66 and 7. So we kind of figure out what's going on. Everybody listening should know if you can afford to wait until 70 and you're in good health, it's a better deal. You get 8% a year increase every year you wait. But a lot of people don't have that ability. And it's not worth waiting if you're going to deplete all of the assets that you have saved, because then you just don't have the liquidity. You don't have enough money when something bad, or not even bad, but like you just don't have enough money to grab onto in the future. So it would really be dependent on what your situation is at that time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Are you wondering whether you are ready to hit your retirement goals or your education funding goals? Or maybe it's something different. Maybe you're wrestling with a choice between two different jobs. We'd love to help you out. All you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we conclude the program, let's do an email. This is from Lisa, who writes, I have a few larger purchases coming up, new furniture, home repairs, and I don't want to tap into my savings. My income allows me to make more than a minimum payment on a credit card, but not enough to make these purchases outright. This is due to family obligations. Is it worth getting a credit card for these specific needs? If so, how do I choose? I haven't had a credit card for 20 years. Oh, Lisa, I really want to know more about what's going on. First of all, I think everybody should probably have a credit card just as an emergency. You can obviously go on the internet and check out all the different reviews and see who's got 0% interest. But I'm really concerned that you have these purchases that are coming up that you may not be able to pay back in a timely fashion, which would make these very expensive home repairs and furniture purchases. So what I would encourage you to do is get back in touch with us. I'd love to know a little bit more about you and how we can help you maybe come into a different decision, because I'm not against credit cards. It's just that I don't know if a credit card is the best idea for you for these purchases. Maybe there is something we can do with a house. Maybe you've got a way to borrow from your retirement account. I don't know, but I'd love to know more about you. So get back in touch with us and we'd be happy to help you out. Okay, that is it. That is the program. If you have a question, you can always go to the website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. While you're on the website, don't forget, you can sign up for the free weekly newsletter. Check out all the free content that lives there. You should also check out my book, The Great Money Reset, because it helps you create a framework for making big decisions without blowing up your finances. And there's also Jill on Money Live. That is our subscription service, which provides you with access to quarterly live webinars and lots of great bonus content. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer. He's also running the website now, so give him some props. Do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.